Hello students, this is Dr. Hetal Dalal. Now today we'll start with a new system, that is excretory system, and this is also a part of life process. Now let's start first of all with the definition of excretion. Now what does excretion means? It means it is a biological process of removal of harmful nitrogenous waste from body, that is excretion. Cell constantly undergoes metabolism, and during metabolism there is generation of nitrogenous, here you can call metabolic waste products, and this cannot be kept inside the body. They are needed to be eliminated. So this process, that is the biological process of removal of harmful nitrogenous waste from body, is called excretion. Now there are mainly three forms of nitrogenous waste which are excreted by animals. The first one is ammonia, second is urea, and third is uric acid. So I repeat again, the main three forms of nitrogenous waste are first ammonia, second urea, and third uric acid. Now we take up ammonia. Now ammonia is the most toxic form of nitrogenous waste, and it cannot be eliminated from the animal's body unless it is diluted. So for diluting ammonia, you require lots and lots of water. So here I have written it is most toxic form of nitrogenous waste and it requires large amount of water for its elimination. Now the least toxic waste is uric acid, and urea stands in between. So according to the toxicity, if I say the highest toxic substance is ammonia, then comes urea, and that is followed by uric acid. So uric acid is least toxic and it can be removed with minimum loss of water. For aquatic animals, water elimination is no problem. Like animals can eliminate water from their body, conservation of water is no problem as they are residing in aquatic habitats. But for terrestrial animals, conservation of water becomes very important. They need to conserve water as well as eliminate the waste. So these are the nitrogenous waste. Now depending on the mode of what kind of toxic waste an animal excretes, there are three modes. The animal that excretes ammonia, that organism is known as ammonotelic, and the mode of excretion is called as ammonotelism. Organism which excretes ammonia from its body is called ammonotelic, and the mechanism is called, the mode of excretion is called ammonotelism. Now this is found in bony fishes, aquatic amphibians, and aquatic insects. And this ammonia is removed by diffusion, which occurs throughout the body surface and also through gills. And ammonia is excreted in the form of ammonium ions. Okay. Now here I would like to cite, like frog is amphibian, terrestrial amphibian. So while it is on land, it would be excreting urea, but when it is in the tadpole stage, it would be excreting ammonia. So this is the thing which you should remember. Now coming to the second mode of excretion, that is ureotelism. Ureotelism is seen in mammals, terrestrial amphibians, and cartilaginous fish. Now these organisms also form ammonia, and this ammonia it cannot be stored. So it is immediately converted into urea in liver, and then this is uploaded or sent in blood, which is filtered by kidneys. And the process by which ammonia is converted to urea in liver is known as Cori's cycle. Okay. So I repeat again. Mammals, terrestrial amphibians and cartilaginous fish eliminates urea. Now all proteins, they are converted into their basic simple components, that is amino acid, and in amino acid the amine group, that is NH2. This you will learn in organic chemistry. This is called the amino group or amine group, and this needs to be removed. So this is then converted to ammonia. Ammonia cannot be stored in organism as it is highly toxic. So this ammonia is converted into urea in liver by Cori's cycle, and from liver the urea is sent into the blood and then the kidneys filter it. So that is ureotelism. Now we come up with the next mode of excretion, that is uricotelism. That is excretion of uric acid. Now this is found in reptiles, birds, insects and also land snails. Reptiles, birds, insects and land snails. When you talk about aquatic insects, again it would be ammoniotelism. So see the difference. Wherever there is terrestrial, it would be ureo. Okay. So here in uricotelism, the organisms involved are reptiles, birds and insects, land snails, and this is excreted in form of pellet or paste. So this requires very less water, in which uric acid is diluted and thrown out. So here the animals, that is reptiles, birds, insects, they conserve maximum water and there is minimum loss of water during excretion. So that is introduction of excretion. You should know the definition. The main nitrogenous waste which are excreted, that is ammonia, urea and uric acid, and different modes of excretion which are followed by different organisms. Now we come up to the important part, that is excretory system in humans. Now human beings have four main important organs, that is they have a pair of kidneys, paired ureters, a urinary bladder and urethra. So these structures will take up in detail while seeing the diagram. Now there are two kidneys, or you can say human beings have pair of kidneys, and the color is dark red and you can see the shape, it is bean shaped, and these kidneys are at the level of T12, that is thoracic 12 vertebrae till lumbar, third lumbar vertebrae. It is posteriorly. So that is between the 12th thoracic vertebrae to third lumbar vertebrae, and on the either side, supposing this is the vertebral column. So one kidney is here, this is here, and this part, that is, it is not in the front part, it is at the back part of the body. So you can say posteriorly. So so that is between T12 and L3, and it is on the either side of vertebral column and laterally. When anything is closer to the midline, it is called medially, and when any object that moves away from the midline, that is called lateral. I can just draw a single line like this. When thing is over here, so that is medial to this structure. Now I have drawn two circles over here. Now which circle is near the midline? So this one. So this is called medial and this is called as lateral. Lateral means away from the center midline. So the location, the color of the kidney is dark red and it is bean shaped, plus it is between, situated, location is between T12 and L3 and it is laterally on either side of vertebral column. Now we take up the dimensions. The length is 10 to 12 centimeter, breadth is 5 to 7 centimeter and thickness is about 2 to 3 centimeter. In this diagram you can see this is the left kidney and this is the right kidney. See, you can see the dorsal aorta. We had learned in transportation from the aorta, there is the ascending aorta, the arch of aorta and the aorta descends. Then it passes through the thorax, that is called as thoracic aorta, and then it pierces the diaphragm and then it becomes the dorsal aorta or the abdominal aorta. So that is on the left side. And this is the inferior vena cava. They are shown over here. This is the inferior vena cava. This is the dorsal aorta. So this becomes the left side of the body. Now upon the kidney there is a gland called adrenal gland and it is responsible for many functions that you will learn in this chemical control. It secretes a hormone called adrenaline, which you might have learned in even lower standards. So this is the adrenal glands. Ad means near the kidney. Ad means near and renal means kidney. So these are the adrenal glands. These are the kidneys, right and the left. Now you must have noticed over here that right kidney, if I place a pen, if I place my marker like this, you might have noticed that right kidney is at little lower level than the left. Yes, this is actually found so in human body because over here there is a structure called liver. The right side has a structure called liver and this liver occupies quite a lot of space and so the right kidney is placed little lower than the left. So this is how the kidneys are found. If I draw a structure, if I draw vertebral column, then you can see it is on the either side of vertebral column. Level is T12 to L3. Okay, so this is the location. Color you know, dark red. Shape you know, bean shape. Now if we look at the external structure, this part is convex and this part is concave. So the lateral surface is convex and the medial surface is concave like this. So this is convex part and this is the concave part. Now as this is very important organ, the kidney is surrounded by fibrous connective tissue and that is called as renal capsule. Now this kidney is surrounded by, if I draw a structure like this, so this is the renal capsule that is made up of fibrous connective tissue. After that there is adipose tissue and later on there is the renal fascia. Okay, So that is related with external structure of kidney. Now this diagram, if you have noticed, this is the longitudinal section of kidney. So we study bit about internal structure of kidney. Now basically structure internally, if you study, there are two major regions in the kidney. These part, I'm showing you over here, this is called as cortex, and rest of the part of the kidney, the interior to cortex, is called as medulla. So kidney is divided into two major regions. Outer one is cortex and inner to cortex is called medulla. Here I have drawn the renal capsule, if you have noticed. See, cortex, outer than that I have drawn the renal capsule, and this part is the medulla. Now here you can see the cortical part is invaginating into the medullary part, and these are called the renal columns. This part you can see the diagram, it looks like pyramids, and it is in the medullary part, so they are called as medullary pyramids. Now this portion, this is called as renal papillae, and the funnel part over here, this is the ureter. If I write it over here, this is the ureter. Now the anterior most part of ureter looks like a funnel. Okay. Now we call that part as renal pelvis. This is the renal pelvis. It looks like a funnel. Funnel, you know this shape. So the anterior, that is the front part, it looks like funnel. So this is called the renal pelvis, and it continues posteriorly as a tube, that is ureter. Now over here the renal pelvis has several, it is branching. Now this part I am writing 1 and this is 2. You can see this has branched. The renal pelvis has branched into two basically. One part is this and another is this. So this is called the major calyx, and this major calyx then again branches into several times. So these branching are called the minor calyx. So that is the internal structure of kidney. So internal structure, basically you have to remember kidney is divided into two regions. The outermost part, if I draw a kidney like this roughly, if this part would be the cortex, and inner to cortex is the medulla. Now in this concavity, this is concave, from where ureter comes out, vein comes out, and artery enters in it. Here you can see the veins would be taking up the deoxygenated blood, means they are going out. From the renal pelvis, the ureter rises and it is coming out, and artery goes inside the kidney. So there are vessels, there are structures which are going in the kidney and structures that are coming out of the kidney. Structure which comes out of the kidney are ureter and veins, and which are entering in it are the nerves and the renal artery. Now this is the renal pelvis. You must have got the hint now. The anterior funnel shape of the ureter is called renal pelvis, and this is branching. I have written number 1 and 2, that is a major calyx, and it further branches, those are the minor calyx. And this is the renal papillae. These are the medullary pyramids. These are the pyramids. As they are located in medulla, we'll call them as medullary pyramids. Now here I would like to mention the functional and the structural component of kidney, or you can place it like the functional and structural unit of excretory system or kidney is a structure called nephron, and we'll take up nephron in the next lecture. The whole structure and its detail will take up in the next lecture. But remember, the structure is called as nephron, and kidney has about 1 million nephrons each. A kidney has 1 million nephrons, or each kidney has 1 million nephrons, which you should remember. Sorry, with the spelling it is nephrons. This is H. So the structural and functional unit of kidney is nephron. Now we studied the external structure of kidney. It is bounded by renal capsule. Then there is the adipose tissue, and then there is the renal fascia. So that is from inside outside. So that is about external structure. We did the internal structure. Now we take up the next structure, that is called ureters. Ureters are paired muscular tubes, and they length is about 25 to 30 centimeter. This length, that is about 25 to 30 centimeter, and their diameter is about 3 millimeter. So the ureter which arises from the kidneys and it extends till the urinary bladder, the length would be about 25 to 30 centimeter, and the tubular diameter is about 3 millimeter. And what is the function? It brings the urine from kidney to the urinary bladder. Okay, so it is paired muscular tubules. Length is 25 to 30 centimeter, diameter is 3 millimeter. Anterior part of the ureter is broad and funnel-like, and that is called the pelvis. I showed you over here. This is a funnel-like structure this way. And then it posteriorly, this is the anterior, that is the front part, and posteriorly it is tube-like. So tubular is, the posterior part is tubular structure. So that is about ureters. Now urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is found in pelvic region, that is the pelvic cavity, and each ureter, the right and the left, opens into the urinary bladder. Now this structure looks like a pear, and it is made up of muscle. So you can remember it is pyriform muscular structure or a sac. Now the walls of urinary bladder are thick and distensible, means it can distend, become broadened, and again get small. So that is distensible. Lined by transitional epithelium. If you remember, you have already learned it. The inner lining of urinary bladder is lined by transitional epithelium, means which can stretch and again come back to its small normal position. So that special epithelium is also known as urothelium. The transitional epithelium which lines the urinary bladder is also called urothelium, and it holds urine. What is the function of urinary bladder? The urine that is formed in the kidney, it comes from the ureter and it gets collected in the urinary bladder. The amount that is stored here is about 400 to 700 ml. Okay, it stores about, I'll write it over here, 400 to 700 ml of urine. and then these are innervated, you get that urge to go to urine. And urination in biology is referred as the act of passing urine, is not called urination, we'll call it micturition. This is the word. The act of passing urine is called micturition. Now, urine that is formed in kidney travels via the ureters, is stored in the urinary bladder, and it will be thrown out from this structure that is called urethra. Now, the length of urethra and in male and female differs. Males have long urethra and females have quite short urethra. You can see the figure written over here. Males have 20 centimeter long urethra and the length in female urethra is about 2 to 4 centimeter. So female are more accessible, or you can say susceptible to catch up urinary tract infection. Now urethra starts from neck of urinary bladder. This is the neck and extends outside. So that is regarding excretory system in humans. So I give a quick recap. It consists of pair of kidneys. You should know the color, shape, dimensions, the external structure, location, that is, it is on either side of vertebral column, posteriorly placed, dorsally placed between T12 and L3, and covered by renal capsule. Then there is a covering of adipose tissue, so you can call it as adipose capsule, and then there is the renal fascia. Then this is the convex structure, this is the concave. Structures emerge out from the kidney and structure enter into it. This is the internal structure of kidney. Will take up nephron, and then I'll explain you how nephrons are placed here. Then there are pairs of ureters which are 25 to 30 centimeter in length. Diameter is 3 mm. You must have heard about renal stones. You know, when they are in the ureters, so larger stones, it takes like they are difficult to pass. So that causes some bleeding as the epithelium is getting that friction effect, and the person gets the renal stone pain, that is a colic. Urine is stored in the structure called urinary bladder, which is the characteristic lining of urinary bladder is a urothelium. It is distensible. It holds urine that is about 400 to 700 ml, and it is innervated, that is parasympathetic and sympathetic innervation. And here also there are sphincters, the internal and the external sphincters. I guess told you the difference between valve and sphincter. Valve is a flap-like structure and sphincter is a ring-like structure. And the last part is the urethra. So that is all for excretion. We'll take up structure of nephron in the next lecture series. Till then, stay tuned. Please like, share and subscribe.